Howdy, and welcome to today's video. Today's the day. Today I was responsible for choosing the topic. And honestly, it was a bit of a struggle to figure out what would be an interesting enough topic to talk about. As I feel like I've already mentioned before, I do get easily anxious being in front of the camera. I think it comes from just this idea in my head that whatever I'm saying just isn't worth hearing or worth talking about. It's just not interesting. So I figured, why not talk about exactly that? Anxiety. Anxiety is gross, it's time-consuming, and worst of all, it can be kind of scary sometimes. I like to think of anxiety as the fear of fear, or the fear of being afraid. So, I'm gonna fight my fear of being afraid just for this one episode, and I hope me and you can make it through this.
It's all about me and you. It's all about me and you.
So, anxiety. It's a word that I've never liked to say too much because I feel like the severity of it is worse than what I've probably experienced, most of the time at least. And yeah, I just don't have a good idea of like if it's that different from stress or if it's a worse version of stress or if it's basically the same thing. I usually just resort to stress because it's easier to kind of say in a general sense, no matter what kind of situation I'm in. So, yeah, I just try to stray away from just the idea of anxiety in general.
For me, I think that's exactly how I feel about the word pain. For pain, I just feel like I don't want to overuse it because I don't want to sound like a drama queen. So a lot of times when I feel like, I guess, discomfort, but it's more than discomfort, but I feel like it's not extreme enough to call pain. I still say discomfort because I just don't want to sound like a baby.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's the same thing as like when you say like I suffer from, that suffer word kind of sounds like, I don't know, when I think of suffering, I think of like old time kind of suffering when you're literally dying from hunger or thirst or something like that. Like you're suffering.
Yeah, like I'm not saying people can't use that word.
Yeah.
But I feel uncomfortable using that word just for anything unless I'm truly suffering.
It's just different standards pretty much.
Yeah. I know for me though, I know you had mentioned that. So you use stress instead of anxiety. Anxiety, it's not something that like, it's something that you have to experience chronically to say that you feel like you're dealing with anxiety at the moment. Anxiety is something that anyone can deal with at any point in their life. Anxiety just means like really the fear or anticipating something that could cause fear, something like that. You know what I mean? Yes. I know I have dealt with anxiety for a pretty long time. I think I know the anxiety that I mainly deal with is social anxiety. That's a big one for me. That's my main demon. And that's just something that I've been progressively getting better at, I'd like to say. But yeah, it's not easy, kids.
What does social anxiety look like?
For me, it's really just being afraid to have any social interactions with especially new people, but even some people that I find let's say impressive. I just don't want to become a fool in front of them. I don't want to say something that I think might make me look stupid or annoying, or I just overthink things and just think that they're gonna see me in the worst lighting. So that's something that I just gotta get out of my head. But yeah, that's my social anxiety.
It's just what it feels like for you.
Yeah, just fear of interacting with people.
I see. What about some other kinds of anxiety? Because I know there's probably other ones besides social.
So there's social, my anxiety. There's general, which I guess anyone can suffer from or deal with.
Just general?
There's general anxiety.
Isn't that just more of like a umbrella term for like all the subsections?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like to say that you have general anxiety, that is a chronic thing, though. Just chronically anxious about anything.
I see.
But there's general, there's social, there's phobias. So specific phobias, like you can be afraid of birds. A lot of people are afraid of birds, which I find strange, but interesting. There's, what is it called? Separation anxiety.
Oh, okay.
That's, I feel like a lot of animals, because I don't know anyone that suffers from separation anxiety that I'm aware of, but like dogs, I know a lot of dogs that suffer from separation anxiety. I think that's really cute. And the reason why is...
That's cute.
Well, it's sad, but it's cute. Like, dogs, they in the wild, you know, their natural instincts, they belong in a pack, right? A pack.
Right.
So they don't want to be away from their pack, and they see their owners as part of their pack, so they don't like to be away from them. Isn't that so cute?
That makes sense.
So they get separation anxiety. Wow, I don't know why that felt so...
Emotional?
Yeah, it's sad. Let me see. I actually have some notes written down because I have Dory brain and I can't memorize anything. So excuse me while I look at my notes. Oh, panic disorder. That's another one. That is considered an anxiety.
Panic disorder? What is that like?
Panic disorder, it's when...
By the way, I'm not asking this like I have no clue what it is. I have like a general idea.
Oh, you
but
tell
I
me.
just want a little bit of like what I think
Yeah.
of panic disorder.
Because I just wrote down the types of anxieties. I didn't write, like, the ones that I knew, but the ones that I panic disorder, I assumed was just...
Well, I figured it was just like you're like more sensitive to have some sort of panic attack, or you're like whatever phobia you have, I'm assuming it's just like an extreme version of that where it's like you literally panic no matter what towards that specific thing.
I'm gonna be honest, I was just about to throw out some BS. I was assuming that panic disorder was something like it could maybe be related to like PTSD or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I know panic attacks, they're similar to anxiety attacks, but they're more... I feel like they're more random from what I've read. Anxiety attacks, there's usually like a meaning behind it, but panic attacks, it can just be like you're uncomfortable and then you just get stressed out right there and feel like immobilized and whatever.
I mean, these all kind of feel like kind of close to each other in some way. So I guess it'd be hard to define all of them. Yeah, I mean, the only ones that kind of like make like clear sense is like the separation one, because that's just a general thing that happens. And the social one. Like they both kind of describe their own situation. Whereas like panic attack, I feel like that describes the result of a situation. So I guess it'd be kind of hard to define that one. Yeah. Is there any other ones?
Yes, thank you for asking. There's agoraphobia, which is the fear of panic attacks. So I thought that was funny and sad. It's like the fear of being afraid.
It's anxiety squared.
Yeah. So I can't even imagine. That's what it sounds like. I know I've read it also being explained like the fear of being out in public and embarrassing yourself. Which I thought was very similar to social anxiety. It's kind of, I don't know, it's very blurred lines for me when I read them. I feel like they kind of overlap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was like a more extreme social anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I'm only kind of asking because I know that I haven't really had much of a history when it comes to anxiety in general. Like, I feel like I've played it out pretty smooth since I was a kid. It was really just until like college kind of started that it was creeping. Well, actually, no, not really. It was like the third year of college Everything kind of just dropped on me.
Well, like, not long ago at all then?
It's like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. But yeah, I would say like at that point, I would say like it became like a consistent thing, and then it started to overwhelm me, which I know I've probably referenced in the past 2 episodes, and I'll probably reference it in the future. That it was just a rough ride, pretty much, trying to manage it. Also, like in the last episode, I mentioned how like I've got my life more organized now, or just my day-to-day. So that helps out with me not needing to have stress or anxiety. So yeah, the history's only kind of been recent, but I feel like I guess in general, just like there's no, it's not like a situation kind of anxiety that I get. It's just the more responsibilities I have, or the more things I need to deal with, I just get stressed out about it. That's pretty much it.
I see.
Yeah.
Can't relate. I've had anxiety. I can't remember when it started. I'll let you guys know when it ends. But yeah, I want to say probably like late elementary school is when I for sure felt like, okay, you know, I'm afraid to interact with people, kind of. Like, I get really nervous.
Something's off.
But it's like with anyone I get really nervous. That's not immediate family or like super close with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if I would say I had a phobias when I was younger. I know, like, I had a really weird thing when I was young where I was afraid of loose hairs. Like, I didn't care about the hair on your head, but I was really young. But I remember, like, screaming at the sight of a stray hair. I don't know why.
Was it because you thought you were balding or something?
I don't think that's what it was. I think I saw them similar to spiders, but I don't know why. I guess daddy long legs, their legs look kind of like hairs.
Was that like a thing that was introduced to you and it was significant?
No one told me like, hey, this is creepy. No one. I don't know when it started.
Long legs.
Oh, well, I also hated spiders, but I don't know if it was. I don't know if you could call it a phobia, because I don't know how extreme a fear has to be to where you start calling it phobias. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm still grossly creeped out of cockroaches.
Right.
But anyways.
Well, those sound kind of like phobias, though.
I don't know. I guess it's now phobias is like stress or anxiety and pain, those words. Yeah. Where I don't want to use phobia.
Mm. Well, I feel like that makes sense because you're scared of specific like roaches or spiders or loose hair.
I'm scared of overselling it with my words.
Oh, I see.
Sorry, I was on
it's a phobia
roll there.
Of overselling.
But yeah, I think it was sometime in elementary where I got nervous talking to people. And it got bad in, I think, high school. Mm-hmm. I think it was it started, I think, like really intense. I first noticed it probably when I was young in church. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was about being in church and like the social setting of church, the social expectations. But I would just get really nervous and anxious talking with people and just felt so self-conscious. And I don't know what it is about church, because I went to church and I listened to the lessons and that was fine. But it was as soon as it was over and I had to talk to people where I was like, no, thank you.
Maybe it was just pressure of like, did you learn? Or like, are you a better person
Maybe
now?
I think it was the judgment.
You're just scared of the judgment?
Yeah, not that there was necessarily any judgment there, but I was scared that there would be. Like, I can't act up. And it wasn't even a kid at that age where I act up a lot, I felt.
Okay.
So I don't know what it was. Like, there was no reason for it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I always felt kind of shy to talk during, like, after service or stuff like that, but I wouldn't say mine was like a social anxiety. Like, I wasn't scared to speak to people necessarily. I was just more like, I was just like, I guess, like not confident in myself. So I just thought like, there's no point in me trying to say something, pretty much.
I mean, I'd say that's still anxiety.
Well, I didn't feel stressed or like anything about that. It was just more like, why?
Oh.
Yeah, I just felt kind of like, I guess a little depleted, but then just over it. Like, not in the mood.
I mean, I would count that because, like, whenever I was in church, I wanted to get out as soon as possible because I was like, I don't want to talk to these people. So, I mean...
Again, I just don't feel like I got stressed from it, or...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's different, sure. So yeah, middle school and high school, I guess I have better memory of it. I remember, especially the first 2 years, not my years, definitely anxious. I remember feeling really gross before school, like every other day to like at least twice a week before heading to school. I felt like I had like really bad diarrhea. Sometimes I'd be it's true though, sometimes I'd be late because of it, and I think that definitely contributed to just me not wanting to go to school and just feeling ill. And yeah,
that was gonna expose your diarrhea problem.
No. I just felt like that was my body like trying to cope with it. Like it didn't know what to do. So it just had like a terrible reaction towards it. So, and then I also experience anxiety now. Still social anxieties with like coworkers or friends, even friends sometimes I get nervous. Most of the time no. But new people for sure. And in relationships, like I know, especially in the beginning of our relationships, I don't really deal with anxiety with you now.
Hope not.
No. But in the beginning of our relationship, you being my first and only boyfriend, there was like, I added so much pressure on top of myself for no reason. And I was just like, how do I talk to the guy I'm dating all of a sudden? Didn't make a difference. We're already friends, but now it's... Yeah.
It's not like we were strangers, too.
You feel like we were strangers?
No, I'm saying we weren't strangers when we started dating. So.
Oh, okay.
I feel like there probably wasn't necessary the anxiety that was put on you. It's not your fault either. You're probably just used to that.
Used to just overthinking and getting nervous. Yes.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah, I just see that as like this is just your big reveal of how your anxiety works and how you've been dealing with it, pretty much.
Yeah. This is just me ranting.
Pretty much. Yeah, but I think it's good that you're acknowledging it. I've noticed that a lot of people tend to acknowledge their anxiety or their stress, however you would like to call it, and it's kind of it's been like just a very accepted thing, which is good. I don't see any problem with someone saying like I'm stressed out or I have anxiety, but I know for me a lot of the times, and it's probably just because I'm not in their lives too personally, but I just don't see the management of their stress too much. So I just assume like letting it out there, it's easy to just let it out there, and then just, like, because it feels like a weight off your shoulder, in some unconscious way I would imagine you kind of feel like, okay, it's been kind of solved. Like this is the first step of solving, it feels good, let me run with that. But I would say that is not the solution, it's just like the first step. Yeah, because I think how you manage your stress or your anxiety matters. You know, sometimes it's literally something that can just hold you off so your stress doesn't get too bad. Other times it can be literally a growth thing where like over time it just gets better and better and better and hopefully it goes away. But the point of it is that there's some sort of progress. Acknowledgement is great, but there's not much that comes after you just acknowledge it, aside from like a relief on your shoulders. So I just see it as kind of like, what's the point of acknowledging it if you're not going to do much else about it? Which I have faith that people probably do, but not everyone. I know for sure that like some people just like to vent, rant, let it out, that's it, not deal with it, which I feel like that's harmful. It can be harmful if that's all that you do whenever you need to find a way to relieve your stress. It's to just vent or rant. So yeah, acknowledgement is key, but you got to do more than that to really manage it and hopefully fix it.
Yeah, some people, they do therapy to help. There's cognitive
I see.
behavioral therapy.
I was thinking physical therapy at first.
I mean, some people do like I think they do like breathing exercises because anxiety, it often increases your breathing rate.
Yeah.
So and that causes like, sometimes it causes like the rhythm of your heart to kind of be off beat.
Is it just the beats per minute?
Sure.
Or you can just be inconsistent.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't. But yeah. I'm sorry. So people do breathing exercises, and that can help to calm them down and just put them in a better physical state too.
Right.
And avoid health issues in the long run if you suffer from chronic anxiety. Other people, they exercise, which kind of backs up with the whole breathing thing a little bit, but that helps too. There's been plenty of studies that show that exercising just helps with your
Cardio.
breathing.
Okay, I feel like cardio specifically helps out a lot because I guess not cardio, but just more running. I know, like, 'cause I've ran a good amount, and if breathing is part of the problem, I would say running fixes that very well because just like a little thing that I always do whenever I run. I run as a warm up for every exercise. Is for every step that I take is a part of an inhale or an exhale. So it's like I already know my pace. So when I start out the run, I can do like 4 breaths in, 4 breaths out, and every breath in or breath out is a step. So it's like, and then it's just that rhythm that you got to keep, and you just count it in your head, and I feel like that helps. I feel like it can help if breathing is part of the problem.
So exercise, run. I mean, yeah, I know running, maybe not running specifically, but exercising, that makes me feel a lot better throughout the day too. So I agree. Do that. Or there's always medication, and medication can help for sure. I know some people prescribe like antidepressants for also anxiety. So a lot of times, sometimes anxiety and depression actually kind of go hand in hand sometimes. But also, I guess it just treats anxiety. And I think that drugs are always an option and they can be beneficial, but I think that should always be like to treat your anxiety.
Yeah, like what drugs? Because you just talked about antidepressants.
I'm just saying that is an option that they get. People to get treated.
I thought you were referring to like like illegal stuff. I was like, that's always an option as well.
Do illegal stuff, please. I never said that. Which I think, but yeah, anyways, prescribed by your doctor, legal drugs are always an option. I think they can be very beneficial, but I do personally feel like they should be last resort. Just because that could have a toll on like just physical health. Sometimes they do come with side effects that aren't too great, and they could actually, it doesn't always balance out well. Like, it might not be worth it.
Yeah.
I know for me though, when I was younger, I like looking at how I was younger now to how I am today. I think I probably would have benefited using drugs, honestly. I've never been, just to be clear, I have never been diagnosed to have any anxiety, whatever. However, I don't think for anxiety you necessarily have to be diagnosed unless it's something like, I don't know, like
one of the phobias?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. But, yeah, I've never been diagnosed. But I think I would have benefited talking to a doctor about my anxiety when I was younger, because I did feel like it was really, really intense. And I know it might have to do with just the fact that I was growing up, I was a teenager, and there's hormones, so there's moodiness, and there's all of that.
Right.
But I think that it would have been something to definitely consider, because it was bad. Like I mentioned, I hated going to school sometimes because it was just that nervousness. That just being scared to interact with other people my age, other humans, literally minding their own business.
Right.
Yeah, and I had no reason to be afraid. I don't think I've ever really been bullied either, at least to my face. Thank you.
Lucky.
It's
okay.
Yeah, so it just came out comes out of nowhere. But drugs, yes, consider them.
Drugs, good, kind of. Yeah. I mean, is there any kind of other way to treat it, or are those just kind of like the main ones? I know the one that I like is fitness, but that's just because I'm already in fitness, so I don't know. What are the side effects? You're tired and you need to eat more and drink more. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention my own, like, how I felt like I've personally grown and have, I don't want to say overcome anxiety, but managed anxiety.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I was younger, I didn't really do anything to help myself. Sometimes I'd read and that would help, but like now, I mean, I think reading definitely does help. I think reading and talking with someone you care about and love, exercising, I feel like that's always exciting now to do, even though I haven't done it in a bit. But because I know how great I feel. It's not even, a lot of it's not even how excited I feel about how I'll look, but it's just excited about how I'll feel afterwards, like just mentally. It's not even the physical thing. It's weird how that does that to you. So there's that. I think a lot of it though is also just growing up. I remember reading that like women, they deal with anxiety more than men. But adolescents, women, or females and males, it's like, I think for men, it's almost double the amount that they would experience as an adult to how they were in adolescence. And then for women, it was still high, but I don't think it was double.
Well, that makes sense for my situation, I guess.
I think a lot of that.
This is about like how you said, like adolescent men to adult men, like it kind of doubles.
No, it was double as adolescence.
Oh. I got it backwards.
Sorry, I don't know if I explained that good. So I feel like for me, that's how I felt the growth, or not how I felt the growth, but but I just think it was over time. It was a lot of just the hormones.
I see.
It's still pretty bad, but it's not as bad.
All right. Well, hopefully you keep managing it well. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's just our little conversation. Just wanted to take a little bit of notes, kind of like the key points that we wanted to bring out towards the end. I know something I had mentioned was about how acknowledgement is just the first step, and I want to emphasize that point, that acknowledgement is just the first step. And I hope people take that seriously because, at the end of the day, just venting and ranting, like how I'd mentioned, it's not everything. It's not gonna fix everything for you. You really got to look for solutions. Another piece of it too is that there are many forms of treatment or of ways to cope pretty much. So just be open-minded about what you want to do. It's not the end-all be-all for just one thing. And ultimately, I hope that you guys can at least take something out of here, maybe think about how you deal with your anxiety, maybe if it's not a super healthy way, hopefully fix that. And if it is a healthy way, continue it, spread the word. It's always good to have other people be there with you, doing the right kinds of things in life that we should be doing. Aside from that, this is just kind of unrelated, just more to the General May show. This is a little new format that we're doing. Hopefully it goes well. We just want the shows to be more better quality, and hopefully that shows up. And let us know if there's anything else that maybe we should be doing or that might be a good idea for us to do. Aside from that, I hope all of you guys enjoy the rest of the week. Videos are going to come out weekly, hopefully. I know this time we did a 2-week kind of phase, but it was just because we're changing format and putting a little bit more planning into this. But yeah, other than that, just a reminder, this show is about me and you, and I hope you guys have a good day.